Who was Anna Delvey? To some, she was a German heiress, poised to launch an exclusive art foundation. To others, she was simply Anna Sorokin, a young woman from Russia, an aspiring artist who captivated New York's elite with audacious ambition. Her story, a complex tapestry of aspiration and deception, unfolded within the gilded cages of Manhattan, leaving a trail of unpaid bills, broken trusts, and a bewildered public. This is the tale of a woman who dared to dream big, perhaps too big, and the system she so artfully exploited. Anna Sorokin arrived in New York City in 2013, a seemingly anonymous figure stepping into a world of endless possibilities. She soon adopted the name Anna Delvey, crafting a new identity that hinted at inherited wealth and European sophistication. Her early days were spent meticulously observing the city's social dynamics, learning the language of luxury, and identifying the key players she would later charm and deceive. This transformation was not instant but a gradual, calculated evolution. The persona of Anna Delvey was a masterclass in social engineering. She presented herself as a German heiress with a trust fund of 60 million euros, a detail she would casually drop into conversations. Her background was kept deliberately vague, a shroud of mystery that only added to her allure. She understood that in certain circles, perceived wealth could open more doors than actual wealth, especially if accompanied by confidence and an air of exclusivity. With her newly minted identity, Anna began to infiltrate the exclusive social circles of New York. She frequented fashionable restaurants, stayed at boutique hotels, and attended high-profile art events. Her confidence, coupled with an uncanny ability to seem just important enough, allowed her to mingle effortlessly with artists, designers, celebrities, and wealthy individuals. She was a chameleon, adapting to every environment, always appearing to belong. At the heart of Anna Delvey's grand scheme was the Anna Delvey Foundation, an ambitious concept for a private members club and art foundation. Envisioned as a multi-story cultural hub in a historic nomad building, it promised art installations, pop-up shops, and a juice bar. This foundation was not just a business venture, it was the ultimate justification for her lavish lifestyle and the future source of her supposed legitimate income. To bring the Anna Delvey Foundation to life, she needed capital, a lot of it. She began approaching established figures in the art and finance worlds, presenting them with sophisticated business plans and projections. She would often refer to her family's wealth, suggesting wire transfers were imminent, always just around the corner. These initial meetings, often held in expensive restaurants, were crucial in establishing her credibility. Anna's method of operation relied heavily on the practice of charging it, putting expenses on a hotel tab, promising bank transfers, or simply convincing others to pay for her. Her requests often seemed reasonable given her supposed heiress status, making it easier for staff and associates to grant them. This created a complex web of small, unpaid debts that would later snowball into significant sums. As her lifestyle escalated, so did her debts. She accumulated substantial bills at luxury hotels like the 11 Howard, the Beekman, and the W Hotel. Private jet services, high-end personal training, and designer clothes were all acquired with the promise of payment that never materialized. The growing list of creditors became a ticking time bomb, even as Anna maintained her facade of wealth. While much of her life was built on deception, Anna did make genuine attempts to secure legitimate financing. She sought a multi-million-dollar loan from Fortress Investment Group, a reputable financial firm. Her application included falsified bank statements and an alleged financial advisor who vouched for her supposed trust fund. These efforts, though ultimately unsuccessful, highlight her ambition beyond mere small-time grifting. A pivotal moment came during a lavish trip to Marrakech, Morocco, in 2017. Anna invited several friends, including Vanity Fair photo editor Rachel DeLoach Williams, promising to cover all expenses. However, when her credit cards began to fail, Williams was forced to put the $62,000 bill on her corporate card, an amount Anna promised to repay but never did. This event sowed deep seeds of doubt among her inner circle. As the unpaid bills mounted and the wire transfers remained elusive, cracks began to appear in Anna's carefully constructed facade. Hotel staff grew wary, associates started demanding payment, and friends began to compare notes. The initial charm and allure gave way to confusion and, eventually, suspicion. Her evasiveness and inability to produce funds transformed her from an intriguing heiress into a liability. It wasn't long before law enforcement became involved. The accumulation of complaints from hotels, restaurants, and individuals eventually reached the New York County District Attorney's Office. Investigators began piecing together the pattern of her activities, realizing they weren't dealing with isolated incidents but a systemic scheme of fraud and theft. The net was slowly closing around Anna Delvey. In October 2017, Anna Sorokin was arrested in Los Angeles, after being lured there by Rachel Williams under the guise of a girls' weekend. She was charged with multiple counts of grand larceny and theft of services. The news sent shockwaves through the New York social scene, as the mysterious heiress was revealed to be a con artist who had exploited the city's aspirations and its trust. The story of Anna Delvey quickly captured global attention. Media outlets from around the world descended upon the case, drawn by its sensational blend of high society, audacious fraud, and the intrigue of a young woman who dared to challenge the established order. She became an overnight sensation, a figure of fascination and cautionary tale, fueling countless articles, podcasts, and social media discussions. Even while awaiting trial, Anna maintained her distinctive style, turning court appearances into fashion statements. She hired a stylist, Anastasia Walker, ensuring she arrived in designer outfits, from Miu Miu dresses to Saint Laurent blazers. This audacious approach sparked further media discussion, highlighting her continued defiance and an apparent refusal to conform to the somber expectations of a defendant. The trial of Anna Sorokin began in March 2019, drawing immense public scrutiny. Prosecutors meticulously laid out the numerous instances of fraud, presenting hotel bills, bank statements, and witness testimonies. They argued that Anna deliberately impersonated an heiress to obtain money and services she had no intention of paying for, totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars. One of the most compelling testimonies came from Rachel Deloach Williams, the former Vanity Fair photo editor who had financed the ill-fated Marrakesh trip. Her emotional account detailed how she was left with a devastating $62,000 bill, leading to financial distress and psychological torment. Her testimony painted a vivid picture of the personal cost of Anna's deception. Hotel managers and staff from establishments like 11 Howard and the W Hotel also testified, recounting how Anna would repeatedly promise payment, only for transfers to mysteriously fail or for new excuses to emerge. They described her charming yet evasive behavior, and the increasing frustration as their attempts to collect payment proved futile, leading to significant losses for their businesses. Anna's defense argued that she never intended to defraud anyone. Instead, they portrayed her as an ambitious entrepreneur who genuinely believed her foundation would secure funding, and that any unpaid bills were simply a temporary consequence of her pursuit of a grand vision. They suggested she was simply buying time and that her actions were not criminal deception, but rather a reflection of a struggling startup. The prosecution vehemently rejected the defense's narrative, emphasizing the deliberate falsification of documents and the systematic pattern of non-payment. They highlighted that Anna continually promised non-existent wire transfers and used others' credit cards without permission, actions that constituted clear criminal intent under the law, regardless of her ultimate aspirations. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury delivered its verdict on April 25, 2019. Anna Sorokin was found guilty on multiple counts, including 3 counts of grand larceny and 1 count of theft of services. However, she was acquitted of the most severe charges, including attempted grand larceny in the first degree related to the Fortress loan, and grand larceny against Rachel Williams. On May 9, 2019, Anna Sorokin was sentenced to a term of 4 to 12 years in state prison. In addition, she was ordered to pay restitution of approximately $199,000 and a fine of $24,000. The judge, Diane Kiesel, remarked on Anna's deep-seated materialist fetish, emphasizing that her actions were driven by a desire for luxury and status, rather than genuine entrepreneurial spirit. Anna served her time at various correctional facilities, including Rikers Island and Albion Correctional Facility. Her time behind bars was marked by continued media interest and her own reflections on her choices. Despite the grim reality of incarceration, she remained a figure of public intrigue, her story evolving even within the confines of the prison system. The restitution order meant Anna was legally obligated to repay her victims. However, the path to recovering the funds proved complex, as her assets were limited. The total amount she owed included significant sums to institutions like Citibank and Signature Bank, alongside smaller amounts to hotels. The financial fallout was a tangible consequence of her elaborate scheme. Following her conviction, public perception of Anna Sorokin remained divided. Some saw her as a villain, a symbol of unchecked greed and entitlement. Others, however, viewed her as a defiant anti-hero, a symbol of challenging the establishment, even admiring her audacious pursuit of success, albeit through illicit means. She became a complex character in the cultural zeitgeist. Even as she served her sentence, Anna faced another looming legal battle: deportation. Having overstayed her visa, she was taken into ICE custody shortly after her release from state prison in February 2021. The process, complicated by legal appeals, highlighted her status as a non-citizen and the finality of her removal from the country she had so captivated. Despite her legal troubles, Anna Sorokin's cultural footprint continued to expand. From prison, she pursued her artistic endeavors, selling sketches and even participating in art shows. Her story became the subject of major media adaptations, including a hit Netflix series, for which she reportedly received a significant sum, further fueling debate about profiting from her crimes. In 2022, Netflix released Inventing Anna, a drama series based on Jessica Pressler's New York Magazine article, starring Julia Garner as Anna Delvey. The series became a global phenomenon, bringing Anna's story to an even wider audience. The deal prompted discussions about Son of Sam laws, which prevent criminals from profiting from their crimes, though Anna's lawyers argued her earnings went towards restitution. Anna Delvey transcended the role of a mere criminal; she became a cultural phenomenon. Her story resonated with themes of class, aspiration, and the allure of wealth in an image-driven society. She became a subject of memes, analyses, and debates, embodying a generation's complex relationship with authenticity, ambition, and the pursuit of status. Anna Sorokin's story is often examined alongside other contemporary grifter narratives, reflecting a broader societal fascination with individuals who exploit systems and perception. From Elizabeth Holmes to Billy McFarland, these figures highlight vulnerabilities in trust, due diligence, and the seductive power of a compelling narrative in an era of rapid information dissemination. New York City itself played a crucial role in Anna's saga. Its glittering skyscrapers, its relentless pursuit of success, and its transient nature provided the perfect backdrop for her reinvention. The city, a magnet for dreamers and schemers alike, became both her canvas and her ultimate undoing, a place where ambition could flourish or spectacularly unravel. The legacy of Anna Sorokin is complex and enduring. She left behind a trail of financial devastation for some, but also a compelling narrative that continues to provoke thought and discussion. Her case forced a re-evaluation of how easily appearances can deceive, and how readily institutions and individuals can be swayed by confidence and a well-spun tale of wealth. Ultimately, Anna Sorokin's story is not just about a con artist, it's a reflection of the society she manipulated. It speaks to our collective fascination with wealth, status, and the desire to belong. It reveals the cracks in systems built on trust and the human tendency to believe what we want to believe, especially when presented with an appealing narrative. One cannot help but wonder what Anna Sorokin could have achieved if her ambition had been channeled through legitimate means. Her undeniable charisma, sharp intellect, and networking abilities, had they been applied ethically, might have led to genuine success. Instead, these talents were tragically misdirected, leaving a story of potential squandered in pursuit of a fabricated dream. The saga of Anna Delvey serves as a potent cautionary tale. It underscores the importance of due diligence, the dangers of blind trust, and the intoxicating power of perception. While her story is a dramatic narrative of deception, it also highlights the profound human desire for acceptance and the lengths some will go to achieve it, even at the cost of their freedom and reputation. Today, Anna Sorokin remains a figure of public interest, still challenging perceptions from her current circumstances. While physically removed from the New York scene she once dominated, her story persists, continually re-evaluated and discussed. The fake heiress may be gone from Manhattan, but the questions she raised about identity, ambition, and the pursuit of the American dream continue to echo, defining a unique chapter in recent history.